James Jordan.
And Mike Wallace.
Coming at you for yet another edition of the Wide World of Motorsports podcast. Coming at you on CFMH 107.3, local FM on St. John, New Brunswick, CKMS 102.7, Radio Waterloo, in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, and the Performance Motorsports Network app on your smart device. You can also check us out on demand wherever you get your podcasts. And give us a line, reach out to us on social media at the WWOMS. We're looking to expand our Season 6, looking for some contributors to come and represent the WOMs at racetracks and also come onto the show as a guest and give us some insight and some analysis. And as well as our Season 6, we're just about halfway through, and we're of course looking for ways to expand there as well, especially when it comes with, trying to expand local racing with our passion there, giving some spotlight on local drivers and also some of the big drivers too that come by. And it, there's a bit of a production cost to that and whatnot that comes behind that. And if you'd like to help us out, you can reach us as well on social media or our email, wideworldofmotorsports@gmail.com, or generally just our website, which, hey, we're going to be posting some stuff from the Big O tomorrow on the day that we're recording here. We're going to be posting some stuff on there. The Wide World of Motorsports podcast.wordpress.com. And we already have some stuff. We'll be having some more stuff up there. It's looking good, folks. This is episode 27, season 6. And as per usual, we do have a special segment that we have at the top of the show, but we're going to be leaving that for episode 28. So we'll leave y'all guessing to who we're going to pick for our driver spotlight for next episode. Dun, dun, dun. On this edition, we will be focusing on, as I had mentioned, we were at the Big O, Ohsweken Speedway, or Ohsweken. I'm going to say Ohsweken because that's how I naturally pronounce it in my head. But just for the train spotters out there, we had a lot of stuff on this episode. We have lots of interviews and lots of cool stuff to talk about here. And
I'm excited, man.
Start all off with the going into this race from a road course, going to a complete different kind of world, for sure, different kind of world, the dirt world, the Big O being a track that is notorious for dirt, for its crates and its 360s and its sprints, right? That's what we've
and they do a bone stock and a street stock, and they get late models, they get modifieds there. They do big block modifieds. Yeah, they do everything pretty much. Had a World of Outlaws there before too.
Right? Yeah, it's always cool to be able to do something different. We're used to road courses. We're used to
ovals, paved ovals,
mostly ovals. Yeah, or a street circuit. We're used to that. We went to the Big O for our first time last year when we covered the race there, and we had a blast. We knew it would be this time, no doubt. And for you, it's obviously the drive too. You come from Midland to a lot of people come from far places too to come to the Big O to watch these races.
It was 3 hours and 45 minutes or something. I left at 20 to 11, and I got to you about 1:30. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
And it's worth it, right? I'm getting into this track. I really am in dirt racing. It's the history too behind it, with knowing what we know about how Glenn Stiers has put it together in 1994, on his family-owned land on the Six Nations at the Grand River First Nation Reserve, which is just southeast of Brantford in Ontario, Canada. And the track has been continuously expanded almost in each year, every year of its existence. This capacity to the track was increased to over 8,000 in 2008, and was a project that was, we ended up getting lighting, we ended up getting World of Outlaws to come race at the facility. It really did expand it, and especially, you know, from what we've heard, people say it's like a class facility with all the events that go on there. You know, he goes all out with the fireworks, like I noticed. He goes all out with the side events, like the bands.
The fireworks were amazing.
Yeah,
and we've heard that the paddock, the team, management have paved more of the pits and added more concrete.
Yeah, that's nice too.
And people are saying it rivals some of the top dirt tracks down in the States, which makes sense because Glenn goes to a lot of them, right? So.
Yeah, and it's his own little playground. He lives there, as I'd mentioned, and he also has, you know, a couple different buildings there that he's got a man cave, he's got a pool and a pool house, and his race shop, and as well as the family business, the Steyer's gas station, which a lot of people should have passed if you're going through there at some point. You got to know that place. So, yeah, you know it. And with the all the big stuff that surrounds it, you know, it's for Pinty's too. When we get drivers like Kenny Schrader that comes, and Stuart Friesen, and also some of the locals dirt guys that Glenn brings in. So there's a lot of, and the payout too. There's a lot of things at play when you go there. It's a very exciting feeling. We've heard of I've seen packed camping there. Obviously when we went this week, because of the weather, that there was some people that obviously opted to avoid getting the crappy end of that. But no doubt with the coverage on Flow and the coverage on TSN, we weren't able to miss a beat, and all G-Force, can't forget that.
And G-Force, yeah, because they covered, not only did they cover all the sprints, they covered all the heat races for the Pinties.
Yeah.
So
Flow showed
awesome.
like 20 free laps on for the race. So everyone playing a pretty cool part in trying to get this out there for the people who couldn't make it as well. That's tough with you know, we've been in that situation before where you're planning on going to a racetrack and then you see the impending weather, you know, the big W word coming into play, and it's never fun. And we as you know, even just as fans of other racing series, we all get it. We've all been there before, and unfortunately,
isn't that the worst feeling though? Driving towards the racetrack and you're driving knowing it's going to be rained out.
I don't know if this is the first
round. I'm gonna turn my life around. I'm not gonna bug mom anymore.
Praying to God or the Creator. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah,
you know it's whatever. It is what it is, and we'll be able to. Luckily, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to go there tomorrow. But even then, if we can, and if people out there that can't, we had what a first race that we had. The day one for our, you know, we weren't really all that focused, and we will, and I'll admit that I feel like I'm missing out on the dirt race in there, and I should keep a closer eye, and we will be keeping a closer eye on the dirt racing that happens there in the future, because you know, there was a lot that went on, more than just Pinties, that's for sure. But our focus, our magnifying glass, we were doing some detective work in the NASCAR Pinties paddock, and as well as those sessions. So that's where we were at during these events. I'm sure you can find out all the results to the other dirt events over on Ohsweken's social media or their website. I'm sure that's up there. And I'm sure there's some other great podcasts out there that will be talking about it. But hey, you know, we're Pinties guys. We love the Pintalints.
Definitely.
So, and also, you know, as I mentioned, with all that cool stuff going into the race, like Kenny Schrader coming back, Stuart Friesen coming back. It was really, I didn't know what to think coming. I didn't know who was going to be fastest. So, but at the same time, when I found out Kenny Schrader, when we were watching practice and qualifying and just seeing how he was handling the track and watching some of the other guys too. But there is no doubt that Schrader was early one of the fastest in practice and qualifying. A vet, no doubt, like he would be.
He was. He seemed to be at ease the quickest, which doesn't surprise me. I wrote when I was taking notes throughout the event. I likened him to Freddie Couples for anybody who watches golf. And he was just effortless. Effortless is what his swing looks like. Like it almost, the way he does it, just back and comes through, and you think he's not even trying, and it just nails it. And watching Kenny massage that car around the track was awesome. But then you had guys right up behind him like Trayton. You had DJ, Kevin Lacroix.
Aaron Turkey was also one of the fastest as well.
Aaron Turkey was quick, and then like I suspected, a young Mr. Daniel Bois, I figured would have a little bit of an edge there. Just thinking the track might lean a little bit towards a wet racetrack, and he has a little more experience doing that kind of stuff with the road racing, and there's quite a few drivers. Dave Bailey as well Dave was Bailey, one. Yep. Dave Bailey in the 36. He was, or 38. I can't remember. He's a local there. He runs street stock. Yeah. I believe he's a points leader. And he did very well holding it with those guys.
Points leader of
Ohsweken
okay, right.
Street
Not in Pinty's, in the street sucks.
Of their street sucks. No, I'm putting the streets there.
I saw Mac really, when he came out though, he certainly wasn't one of the fastest in practice, but he was coming out there and he was testing that car to its extreme. I was looking like he was seeing how far he could take the car early in that session while the track was the way it was before too many cars got in the way. Yeah, and we saw that throughout the race, and we'll get to that in a bit. We saw how that paid off, how he ended up charging up to the front in the race. Going back to the race here, or going back to the pre-race here, the track was dry and slick. Not much dust I noticed was being kicked up, and the tires are still very hard, so the grip wasn't easy to find. And we were, and also too, we were supposed to get rain, and we weren't sure what was going to happen. Things stayed overcast into the evening, into the night, keeping things kind of relatively cool for the track and for the ambient temps. And also too, when we spoke with Larry Jackson up on the perch, up in turn 2, before the race, before the practice qualifying, he was asking us like, what line do you pick? And we're kind of looking at it and figuring it out with him, talking. We saw, maybe we saw this during the race, and we were chatting about this too with him. Is the middle lane, is that going to do anything? The bottom, what's the high lane going to do? And we ultimately ended up finding out with how the track was, the bottom was good for entry, but it didn't give enough of that oomph from that what the higher lanes provided on the exits. And we even saw the middle lane kind of get some stuff going.
And when what some of the drivers were saying, DJ alluded to it, and when I spoke with Kevin, he as well alluded to it. Just that the outside was able to, even Friesen talked about it, just have a little bit more momentum, and it seemed that there's a little bit more car control. I remember, I think it was DJ that set it up on stage, that there's a bit of a lip. It kind of convexes in so they can hook their right tire kind of in this spot and kind of keep it around there. Interestingly enough, there was one driver that he had told me that last year he was trying to pitch the car sideways like a dirt car, and he realized that that wasn't right. He needs to just drive it flat like a regular car. And that driver finished in the top 5. This there. And it made a difference because he didn't finish up that high last year.
And before we get to our interviews here, let's talk a bit about 22 Racing and how they did. They were able to kind of basically start up front for that race, and Tag was able to get the lead up on the beginning of the race, but with the yellow on lap 3, being Tag lost it on the inside of turn 2, giving the lead to Lapsevich and Kenny. Tag had a couple of wrecks. He got hit in that wreck, and he got hit in another wreck where he had to come down during caution laps, and caution laps don't count. So he was able to come down, get stuff fixed, come back out, just start at the back, no loss. And he ultimately did good too, getting up in 11th or almost in the top 10. But yeah, Tag, he lost it early, unfortunately, and it looked like it basically for the rest of the race. We saw a couple of yellows early, but we saw more yellows in the later parts of the race. And that was giving chances for Kenny to be able, like Kenny was always starting the outside, Trey in the inside, and Kenny just wasn't able to get it going on the outside until we saw on lap 79 when he was able to get the lead from him.
I think it was more of there was no need to go stuffing it in there and try to take the lead on the outside when they had so much racing. I think we saw a real veteran. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just saying I think we just saw like a real veteran talent who's, raced against Dale Earnhardt and guys like that and won, apply his craft against our best, right?
Right. And
I mean, he wasn't this good last year. Yeah. So he's clearly found something out. And you alluded to 22 Racing, and clearly their program has really stepped up because they are producing some powerhouse numbers this year
and they did
on
fantastic.
The front row.
Yeah, they did pretty good, and Tag, he had a broken brace and tire up from his spin out, so they're getting another car, or they're fixing the car. They've gone back to fix it. They're getting another car. I know they went back to their shop or a shop to figure some things out.
That's crazy.
We're
back in Quebec.
Or maybe a local shop. Not sure if it was Quebec or somewhere local. A lot of race teams will say, hey, come on over to our place so you don't have to go that whole mish. We've seen that happen before, so that's possible. Yeah. But yeah, there was some hard battling in the middle to the back of the pack, but for the most part, for the first couple of stages, the lead was mostly unchanged during the first stage. It was basically, Trey, Kenny, Lacroix, I think Friesen got up there. Kennington was up there. So we saw these guys get out. And then at the back of the pack, you're seeing some of those dirt guys make some ground. And that's where you're really seeing some of the good, hard racing. But yeah, we saw Kenny go on. And Mac. Can't forget Mac.
No, it was just something I had noticed. Mac too. Something I had noticed about, especially in the mid pack there, a little mistake, we just escalated, right? Like you made a little mistake and then somebody had to try to correct, but because, Daniel Bois referred to like you're going through the corner and you think you have it, and then all of a sudden you hit a little bump and it's unpredictable. So then you might hit somebody else and then it just escalates, and everything we saw was not on purpose.
There's probably not one car. There was probably not one car that
nature
got
of
hit.
The beast.
And also, there's a bit of a leniency if you wreck out that you can come down and get some work done without losing those laps and come back out and still be at the back and compete. And at the end of the stage, you also can go back down to pit road and get what you need. We're not really too worried about fuel and tires at a race like this. So a lot of your stuff is figuring out how to manage your equipment, your tires, your car, and also too, and drivers after the race talking about the balancing out. Well, yeah, I should have been more aggressive in this situation, but we still have another race to go. So I'm there's some guys that were trying to maybe even stay out of stuff there, and we got a chance to. We're going to play some interviews here. We did talk to Kenny Schrader before the race, but it is still a pretty relevant interview. And then we also talked to some drivers after the race. We talked to I talked to Kenny Schrader. I got a word with him for his win. You talked to Kevin Lacroix, DJ Kennington, Andrew Ranger, and Alex Gannett after the race, and Stuart Friesen. And we're going to play that for you here, and then we're going to get back to you in just a little bit for more of our coverage for our Ohsweken special here on the Wide World of Motorsports. Here are our interviews from Race 1 at the Big O.
So I'm standing here with Ken Schrader, the great, the amazing Ken Schrader.
I'm just old.
No, the
just
great.
Old. No.
We had the privilege to watch your race last year here, and we had the privilege of this past weekend, a couple days ago. You got to race at Sunset.
Yeah,
Sunset
or not
Speedway.
Sable. Sunset
in the APC, which is our touring pro late model series. You run a lot of different cars between different things. How do you get into the car, that track for that night?
Well, luckily, you only got a steering wheel and two pedals do anything, and they always turn left, so you just go around there. It ain't no big deal.
That sounds like natural ability.
I don't know about that, but we've been doing a lot of different cars at a lot of different tracks for a whole lot of years, and you just do it.
So it's now it's just become kind of second nature, where it's more enjoyable that it's something different. I get to go have fun with this. It's something different. Go have fun.
Yeah, very much so. When I was just starting a race around home and kind of for a living, I'd run 4 different classes on the same night, so you kind of got used to jumping in different stuff.
Right. And how did our touring pro late model series in our NASCAR home track, Sunset Speedway, compared to stuff you run down in the States or other places in Ontario or Canada?
Well, I don't run a whole lot of asphalt.
Right.
I prefer the dirt. But the APC tour, man, I like the hell out of it. You got nice, good-looking cars.
Yeah.
They run the GM Performance crate engines,
Yeah.
Almost afford to run one of them.
Yeah.
They got a good rule on shocks and tires.
Mind if I reach by you there for 1 second?
I thought it was great
don't.
rules.
You don't move.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It makes it real. I like that. We do a radio show and podcast too, so it's just more real. Still talking with Kenny. I really like our APC series because it is our premier asphalt series in Ontario. I mean, one could say that the Pinty series is, but for really the breeding ground for the next driver. Anybody stand out to you that you were racing with and against?
Well, I mean, I didn't know everybody.
No numbers? Any numbers that were giving you the gears?
Man, everybody ran hard and they ran clean.
Yes.
So I mean, just the series stood out. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, so let's move on to this race. If I can have a few more moments of your time.
Yep.
This is I'm going to say quote unquote NASCAR dirt race. Pinty's car is not a dirt car. The dirt tire isn't a dirt tire. So how dirt is this dirt race?
It's not. Well, the weather could make it a dirt race, but then we can't run very long because the cars will overheat.
Yes.
And we won't be able to see.
Yeah.
So
those are all bad things.
Those are all bad things. Now have that when you don't run dirt cars at dirt tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. And we do the same thing next. I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday. We run the ARCA cars at Springfield, Illinois, on a mile of dirt. One day they run the Silver Crown.
Yeah.
One day they run the ARCA. We're running the ARCA race.
Nice.
So, it's just, it's unique, but what it goes down to is everybody's got the same stuff. So it don't make any difference. The last thing that would need to happen would be let them make big changes for the dirt race. We don't need that.
Right.
Everybody take their regular cars and go run.
Well, I can't argue with that, actually. And it's one of the reasons why we like this series so much. we believe that it is one of the most competitive, one of the most unique, because we run ovals, bull rings, and half mile. We run dirt and road and street courses. So there is a big mixture, kind of the way Kenny likes it. I mean, is there any thoughts? Maybe you run a season up here in the NASCAR Pinty Series Canada, support Canadian race fans?
No, I don't. I mean, it'd be fun.
I'm just teasing, of course. Yeah. Of course, I know.
But one little problem I got. No, I mean, the series is great, but whenever you tie, and I'm a NASCAR supporter.
Yes.
But whenever you tie the NASCAR logo and stuff, everybody thinks they have to spend more money and everything needs to be bigger, and it doesn't. It pays more money to start that APC race than it does this race. It pays $200 more to start this race, but you got a
There's way more.
You got an entry fee.
Yeah, way
that you don't have for the APC race.
Right.
So I mean, this can get pretty pricey pretty quick.
Well, we on the show, to be honest, last week our podcast was a little bit of an open discussion about kind of our feelings to the state of NASCAR. We always say down south because we are when we're referring. But Kenny, I just want to say thank you so much. Good luck, and maybe we'll see you in Victory Lane.
Well, we'll just see what happens.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew, how'd today go for you?
Not like I was expected. I think we can be better than that, but we have a few issues with the car. We came in the pit, make some change, and after that we were running in the top 10, and the 9 car spot in front of me hit me. So I think he bent like a little thing in the car, so the car was not the same on the exit corner. So overall, I think we finished 10th, so it's like a top 10 for us. It's better than nothing.
That's pretty good, though. That's a good rally from maybe not
exactly.
the best race.
To finish the race and to finish in the top 10 and have a nice fight with David Hebert. So this is a friend of mine, so
that's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
What keeps you kind of motivated going race to race? Because I haven't had the best season, not for lack of trying, not for anything like that, just true bad luck.
Yeah.
What keeps you really wanting to go to the next race? Is it that the next one's going to be better?
I need to. This is what I put in my mind. A race car driver, you're the winner one race and a loser in another one. So it's like a roller coaster. So this I used to be to that, but like you said, we didn't have this is the worst season that I have. So seriously, I never have bad luck like that. Like you said, we have very bad luck. So
yes, true bad luck.
I'm a winner. I'm a champion, and I just want to prove to everybody that I will still pushing and do my best to win this.
Well, I don't think you have to prove anything to anybody. Like you said, you're a champion. Hopefully, we'll get the races in tomorrow. And thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Standing here with Alex Gannett. First time on the dirt. How'd you like it?
It's a lot of fun, man. I'd actually never even been to a dirt track in my life, so I've watched plenty of it, but it's my first time actually on at a track and racing. So it was a lot of fun, more fun than I even would have thought. It's competitive. Like a lot of guys are really good, have a lot of experience, but I can't wait to get back out. It's new for me, and it's been a while since I tried something new.
Is it comparable to anything that you've done? Maybe wet racing?
I'd say probably drifting a four-wheeler or a side-by-side, which I've done plenty. So I think that definitely helped me here.
Yeah.
Like, we only got 30 minutes of practice, and then we started racing. So, I feel like I did a decent job. P9 there. Probably could have done a little better, but...
I think that's pretty respectable for not being on dirt. You're definitely in... I had a list of notables for doing a really good job. Anything you're going to change for tomorrow or Wednesday?
Maybe if we get lucky, we'll race tomorrow. But I think not change. It's just stuff I figured out during the race that now I say we went practicing again tomorrow morning. It's going to be a whole different other ball game because I know a lot more of where I can take it. Learned the track too. Never been here, so learned the track, learned dirt, just a bunch of new stuff. So definitely we'll be a lot better shape tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get to chat with you again.
Thank you.
Standing here with Stuart Friesen. Finished fifth?
Sixth.
No, okay. 4 shy from last year, but you get another chance closer. What do you think maybe you were lacking, car was lacking?
We were just couldn't really roll the center there. We were just a little bit tight, but big thanks to the GSR Racing here and Dave White and his whole race team. Cool to be back in the Penny Series again, and a little bit of work to do. But I think we'll put our heads together here and try to get this thing turning a little bit better, and then with that, I think we'll have a little bit more forward drive, a little more center of the corner speed. So fun. It looks like we'll have a little bit of rain maybe tomorrow, and then hopefully be able, if not tomorrow, we'll come back Wednesday and improve.
How comparable is this? I'm sure you get this a lot, but this to maybe the trucks on dirt?
It's pretty similar. I mean, it's you're on a really hard compound tire, and that's equalizer, so you can throw the kitchen sink at it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's all it's going to do. So
right.
Kind of similar. It's when one lane's better than the other, that's kind of where you have to be, and you kind of see that 3/4 to top is kind of where you have to be, and it makes the restarts pretty interesting. And it's pretty racy. So.
It does. Is it all about that momentum up high? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, a little bit. Trying to be up high, but then when you got somebody pushing you and got you half spun out, there's no speed there either. So
right.
Fun racing and a great series. A lot of professional racers in this series and teams. So it's cool to be a part of, and fun night for it.
When are you going to come do an asphalt race?
I don't know. I'd really like to do a road course. I like the transmissions in these things. I like the specs in the series where you're in a box. You really got to drive the thing. So maybe Motorsport or something someday would be badass.
But everybody would love that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But you never know.
Well, thanks a lot, Stuart, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Third place finisher, DJ Kennington.
Thank you.
Best finish of the year?
Yeah, we've had a crap year actually for our standards, but
sure,
I just had some horrible luck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had speed, we haven't had speed, we've had a lot of stuff go wrong, a lot of stuff out of our control.
Yeah.
So that stuff I can handle. I don't like not being fast, so it was nice to have good speed tonight.
Yeah.
Had good speed last week in Quebec as well. So
yes.
Really looking forward to tomorrow, and hopefully we can get another podium tomorrow.
What's this comparable to? Anything you've done in the past? It looks there was a half mile real slicked out dirt track back in the 80s, 90s down in the States. It was the fastest. They talked about doing about 170 miles an hour in the super lates. Bloomquist used to run there, but this really reminded me of it because it really blacks out. And is it as quick as it looks, or are you just kind of spinning the whole time?
It is really slow in the car. Just trying to get forward drives really hard. It is really glassed off and slick. So you're trying to find any kind of moisture or drive you can get.
Yeah.
It makes it difficult, but it also makes it fun because you're searching for that extra grip. And fun racetrack. You do such a good job to make it like this so that it's not muddy, it's not ruddy, it's not bad for our cars because it's hard for these cars because they're not dirt cars.
Right.
So Glenn and the track crew do a great job to make it that way.
Yeah.
And then it's up to us as drivers to put on a show.
Schrader, one last question. I'll let you go. I know you're busy. I spoke with Ken Schrader earlier today, and we were talking about it, and what he likes or thinks is that it should stay this way. It should stay on this tire, track the same way, because everybody's equal and it puts on good racing. Do you think that, or do you think there's maybe some tweaks we could
I don't know. I mean, I complain about the tire, but then if everybody has a better tire, then everybody's going to be faster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that it's a better tire, it's just a softer tire.
Sure.
Obviously, the tires are great. We had no issues with them.
100 laps.
Problems, 100 laps. General makes a great tire, but I mean, maybe a little bit softer might give you a little bit more options.
Sure.
But I think it puts on a hell of a show, and it's all about the fans. So as long as they're happy, we're happy.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks a lot, DJ. We'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
We're standing here with second place finisher Kevin Lacroix. This is way better than last week. What made the difference tonight for you?
I don't know. Maybe just trying to enjoy my night and not having any pressure. Championship is gone. So we just, focus on having fun the rest of the season. And that's what I had today. It was just very different. And from last time here on dirt, I was running mid-pack, and maybe I learned how to drive on dirt the wrong way.
Right.
So now running with Drayton that won here last year and Ken Schrader that has a lot of experience, showed me the way around, and I really thought, at the end I was getting very comfortable. And
well, I would say that, because we watched the whole race, of course. You were up there, top 5 the whole race, and very patient. It was fun to watch. The racing was fun to watch. I made some notes because it's hard to tell. Are you guys enjoying it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well,
is it depending where you are on the back, but is that fun kind of racing, slipping, sliding, kind of bumping,
Well, last year, I was pitching the car sideways because I thought that was racing on dirt, and going on power hard and just being always sideways, and it's like it was kind of boring going on power and nothing happens. But now, understanding more how to drive it and being more calm, it was actually very nice. So earlier in the race, I was holding P4 and P5, and I was just patient and being, watching 20 and 22 how to go around the track. And as I went, I more comfortable. I was not all holding the 4th and 5th place anymore, and I think I was really, getting better and catching on the top 2.
Is there any saving of tire? One could say that watching Kenny just follow Trayton lap after lap, he was saving his stuff, and in a veteran move, it's time to strike. Was there any of that type of car conservation, tire conservation going on?
We feel that a lot on asphalt, where if you overdrive a car just a little bit, you're like for 5 laps to be really patient with the car, because it gets the tire overheated, and asphalt, there's a grip, so when it slides around, it's because tires are overheating.
Yes.
Where here it's more difficult to feel because it's always slippery anywhere. So being very slippery or extremely slippery is tough to feel. So I don't know if we saved it, if it was better to save anything or not, or it's just being smoother is just the faster way around. But it's just I kept it smoother. At the end, it was faster.
Yeah, well, I would. It definitely looked like that. You took the fight to DJ pretty hard. Again, I noted it was like no room given, but just enough room given to each of you. What's it like to battle with a veteran like DJ? We're coming up to the 200th race. He's in his 15th year or 30th. Yeah, I'm not too sure. He's been here for a while.
200-something starts.
Yeah. What's it like to battle so respectfully with a veteran like that?
Well, it's nice with DJ. There's some drivers that every time you get side by side, we get to bend the wheel and damage the car. Where every time we're running side by side with DJ, you're confident that he's not going to break your car. So we can bang doors a little bit, bang bumpers, but it's always the car keeps on. We keep each other on track, and there's no dirty move, and it's just nice to be playing hard but nicely, and we get out of the car and we laugh about it, and we're just having fun. So
that's good. It's great. It's really good to see you with a smile on your face. I mean, P2 will do that to a guy, but it's nice to see you in the paddock, and we hope to see you in the paddock for years to come.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Getting the interview in quick here with the race winner of race number 1 for the NASCAR Pinty's Return to Dirt, Kenny Schrader. I just heard from Bryce you're the first American to win it, and how does it feel getting your first Pinty's win?
Well, and obviously it feels good anytime you just win anything, but Pinty Series, pretty damn competitive, and we were just glad to be winning. I mean, we run second almost, 70, 80 laps, and then the leader had a little trouble, and we were able to get up front, and then it just worked out.
What was it like having 22 Racing dominate that whole race? You and Trey put on a great show up front.
Well, it just shows how strong the team is, and is definitely glad to be driving for them.
Right, and you guys must have had some sort of plan or something like that, keeping up the front, kind of the 22 Racing show. Was there any discussion before the race about that?
No, we both wanted to just, but I told him I would race him as clean as I could, and I would not mess him up because he's up here racing for points, and So I was no way going to mess him up, and he said he would run me hard and clean. And, boy, it was fun being around him.
Right. And for going forward, is there any more Pinty's races in your future?
Not that I know of, but you never know. Never know what's going to happen.
And all the best of luck to you on the SRX race too Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, man. And we were just listening to race winner Kenny Schrader. We all kicked it off with our pre-race interview with Kenny Schrader, and then you heard our chat with Andrew Ranger. What's some of your insights from our talks with Kenny and Ranger there? Our first two interviews there.
Kenny's a racer, and he's happy to be racing.
Right.
That's pretty simple. It's actually interesting to just hear his honesty too about the cost of racing and stuff like that.
And to talk to such a legend.
We don't really need to get into that.
To get him on the show. And what about Ranger?
Yeah,
and
I talked to. Yeah, that was so cool. So Ranger, we spoke, like our listeners heard, just kind of how his year's been going. It's been really bad, and what keeps him motivated. And he feels he needs to prove that he's still a champ. And don't count him out for a win this year. He's got one. Maybe CTMP, maybe Delaware. He'll get I think he'll get a checkered this year.
And Gannett.
Gannett. For his first time on dirt, did really well. He seemed to have a blast. I mean, he had a smile on his face. He was talking to park team owner, 3-time champ Jason Hathaway, and he's really excited to come back and do it.
It was cool to catch up with Friesen and DJ and Lacroix as well. What about that?
Yeah, it was really actually cool to talk to Stuart Friesen. Interesting to hear what he needs out of the car. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but he's busy, right? He was doing the sprints and doing this. Again, I think he's another driver that probably figured out what he needs to do differently in the next race. Stuart's definitely a contender for the win.
Yep, and DJ getting up there and the Claw staying up in the mix as well. That was really cool.
Well, DJ, this is his best. This is DJ's best finish of the season. They're just win hunting, and Lacroix after that mechanical failure at the last one, this is great. He drove for this one. I kind of kept an eye on him all race. He really drove for this one.
Yeah, it was good to get that race and good to be able to talk to all those guys. Thank you to all those guys that were able to, all drivers, people, that were able to come on the show and talk to us, give us some time. That's the most interviews that we've probably had on the show in one episode. We're trying to stay as much as we could after the race, but because of the rain that was coming in, it was cool to chat with all of our usual buddies. Got to shout out, guys like Brent, Steven, Patrick, Wes, Wade, some of our crew, and if there's anyone else I'm forgetting, sorry, but there's just too many to remember. Yeah, it was some good, honest friendships, or hanging out too a little bit, and that was really nice. I'm not gonna lie, it's fun to hang out with them, and it's fun to kind of shoot the breeze after this, but unfortunately because of the weather that was coming, we had to go. But we were still going home and thinking about we actually finally I found some results here for the race. I was thinking about some of the other guys in the field, especially Tag getting that P10 from all that he went through. That was, I'm going to say, for my notable mentions, and I like to try to do a notable mention for every race, because there's guys, and it's so easy because Tag is, he's like the most popular driver, and it's obviously easy to give him a mention. It can't forget guys like, David Hebert 13th, Dave Bailey 12th. Getting close to the top 10 for guys that aren't used to these cars and and that are used to totally different kind of discipline almost.
Thomas Noipo is the one that is really 8th place.
Some good notable mentions
he's never driven the guy's never driven ovals, and he comes and does a dirt oval, and he's in the top 10. So it was a good race. It was drivers looked like they had fun, and that's what's really important.
Yeah, and it kind of throws me back to a bit at the beginning of the season when we heard we heard some of the drivers, especially I remember hearing from Larry Jackson, like that's why we're in it, is to have fun. And so that makes Mac 34 points behind Trey.
Yes, and Trey, can I just say too, Trey didn't have he had an amazing race, but he got chewed up. He just got chewed up and went back. But he fought to finish ahead of Mac. And honestly, that's what a champion does, right? That's how you become a champion is you keep the points that you can.
Yeah. And also adding on to how he was being raced pretty rough at the end there. I mean, maybe that's one of the things when you're the points leader, and you got a decent points lead too.
That's true. Right?
I bet Trey probably knows, like, hey, I'm the,
and
I'm the
and
top
a lot
guy
of those
here,
guys.
so I'm gonna get roughed up.
Think about it though. You have Lacroix, who's just win hunting. DJ, who's just win hunting. LP,
yeah, that's for sure. Now there's 70
all these
something
guys
points,
are just
those guys down.
They're just going
tag
for wins.
59 points. Same there. Those guys are, and not to sign off the season or anything, because wins.
I don't mean it like that. I don't.
Wins
mean it
is
like
still
that,
a
but
good thing, to go for, other than just focusing on championship. We've talked to drivers a lot about that, going for the wins versus the championship. Yeah, and I'm sure after tomorrow, and with Kenny winning the race too, I mean, a guy who's not really getting any points wins the race.
Nobody was mad at that win.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then tomorrow we're finding out. Now we found out that Kyle Steckley will be stepping into the driver's seat of the number 22 after winning as crew chief, and then hopefully it'd be cool to see him. I think that'd be cool to see if he won as driver in the winning car.
I'm really now I'm a little more upset that I had to leave the racetrack because I don't get to see Kyle on the dirt, because he might have that, that I just feel like there's a bit of I don't want to say beginner's luck, but it's kind of like you don't know what you don't know, so you kind of the first time you do something, you always sometimes seem to be really good at it. And, once you learn a little bit more, it seems to get harder. But Kyle's an ace. I mean, that guy's been on fire in the Pro Late Model Series this year.
And considering the situation, Kenny's got to go back, I think, to I-55. That's his track, to I-55.
Is that where they're going, I-55?
Either way, he's got to do SRX Thursday. So he's got he's got to jet down and get ready for that.
He's got a job.
Understandably, someone's got to fill in for that. And because of the weather delay, we saw about 50 millimeters of rain in the southwestern Ontario area on the day that the race was supposed to happen, the day race 2.
Your daughter's wedding.
We still went to the track. We checked it out. It was cool to see some of these drivers working, taking advantage of some time that they can get to be able to set themselves up for a better run in race 2. We're going to potentially see a bit of a vibe change in that sense for race 2. Where guys are coming back. I don't know. Maybe guys are going to come back with new cars.
What do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to... I feel like it's going to be rushed. I feel like it's going to... Everyone's going to feel... It's going to be I can't...
I hope everyone feels
it's an
like
impatient race.
I hope there is some patience. Also, the track changing too. That might add to the pressures. That might add to some of what's going on here. We're not big dirt guys, we will be, as we said at the beginning of the episode, we're missing out, we know. And if we are calling it wrong on how the dirt changes, well, we saw a picture from Wade Yarrow from the front stretch of just the track. It looked like it was just a big mud puddle. And of course, some dirt guys like, oh, we can go road racing on that. Well, I don't know so much about the Pinty's cars. We're going to get our Viz. We're going to have no Viz. The windshields are going to get muddy. The grill is going to get clogged up. We're going to see overheating. That would have been, the rain stopped at about 8:30, just about a couple hours ago when we're recording here. And I don't think, maybe at an oval track we could have ran around a few times. We could have brought some trucks and some cars out and got a line on a short track, and maybe we could have started a little late.
That's the thing. That's the difference.
I don't know.
Is you can't jet dry, or you can't rubber out, or
you just gotta let it air out.
Track like that. Well, you do. It's a working thing. You can't just.
And with how the track's positioned, because there's those tobacco fields beside it, and I hear that there's like aerodynamic, like there's like a whole special little way that the wind cures the track off of the field. So that's super cool to put into contact, or to put into the mix of things as a fan, to see that maybe we might have different lines that we're going to run during the race. Maybe we're going to see I'm not sure if we're going to see mud flying around, or how much more dirty it will be, or I'm not sure how different it will feel for the drivers. It will be certainly interesting to find out after the race when we talk to them.
The sprint cars are going to, the sprint cars will take that, like, clean it off for them first before the
and they're still running. They're still gonna
do the full
work in the track. So that won't be. It's not like they're not running and the Pinties are the only ones. That would probably for sure throw a wrench into the plans.
I don't think they would be able to do it.
But what are some of your Let's talk about some predictions going into this race. I'm thinking Trey's car wasn't. It didn't look like. Maybe it had some scrapes on it. I don't remember it having any sort of, bad body damage. I think he's probably good. Yeah,
he did. He had nothing bad, but he had the left front fender right on and front of the front tire there was got broken on a restart. It's gonna
but that's a quote unquote easy fix.
Yeah,
cosmetic.
I don't know. It's
damage.
hard to say really who's going to be out front. I would lean to say that, considering that this year was really not much off of how last year was, you're going to see the same guys up front.
I think DJ's
obviously we're not going to see. I think DJ's a good.
He's going to keep pounding. I think
Kenny's not there. Pounding. Kenny's not going to be there, and Stewart's not going to be there. So
really, so that's right. Someone, I'm sure, from the Steyrs stable will fill in.
That's two guys that finished in the top 6 that aren't there. So now you got 2 other guys coming up. Dexter Stacey looked really good. I think he got caught up in other people's mess. Daniel Bois, again, I believe can do really well. It's just going up in the knowledge, right? The more you do it. So I think from the conversation him and I had afterwards, he seemed to figure out a lot. Alex Gannett, another, seemed to figure out a ton. So, and even I'm sure there's some other drivers that have figured a few things out, and maybe it'll be a real clean race. Like it's like the duels, right? You get a real messy one and you get a real clean one.
Or was
not
the
that
first
this
one
was
the
a
clean
messy
one,
not or anything.
Or was
that's
the first
right.
one the
Then
clean
you're like,
one?
was this the clean one? Yeah.
We're gonna find out, and I want to see. I want to hope that we're gonna see some of those, like an Aaron Turkey or someone, kind of figure that out. I want to see some of those
Dave
local
Bailey was pushing
guys. Dave Bailey. I want to see some of those local guys.
Somebody
get up there. Use some of that time that they had during race 1. We've heard a lot about the drivers say that they wish they had more practice there. If you want to see it, race 1 is kind of like a practice, that could be a way to look at it. And if I'm getting pumped, I'm getting worked up for tomorrow. I'm going to be finishing work, and I'm going to be rushing
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rub it in Wallace, but hey, I gotta miss practice qualifying and all the cool stuff that's going on during the day. So I gotta just watch the last. I'm showing up for the credits almost, or if I'm showing up for the climax. Yeah, so we're gonna be able to be there, I'm pretty sure, and bring you all the coverage from the track to the community, and awesome. Looking forward to soaking some of that stuff in. We took a lot of awesome photos and reels and interviews. All that stuff is up on our social media. Well, most of it is up on our social media pages at the WWOMS. And also through there, we're working together with some people through the NASCAR Pinty's community page on Facebook, where we're really starting to meet and get to know some of the other people in the community, and
it's awesome
being able to collab with some of those people through the page. Maybe some of them have info that we don't have. We're able to put it to the page, so we try to put all the important stuff through the page at the WWOMS for updates if you're not able to make it, or if you're not able to watch the race on Flow Racing or on TSN Plus, or of course try to, if you miss it, hope people out there make it. I saw some people in the community NASCAR Pinty Series community group. I'm sure there's some people out there with some extra tickets that would love to give you a deal or just give you the tickets. Just look around for it. Let's try to get as many people as we can.
Let's fill the stand. I wish I could be there. I really wish I could be there.
Yeah, and for me, figuring out night photos for once, I'm hoping to be able to get some sweet night photos and to be able to learn some more insights from the drivers and whatnot during the race, listening to their scanners and whatnot. That stuff's really cool. That stuff really helps for our articles for episodes just like this. So looking forward to bringing you all that info and more as well on our website, www.thewideworldofmotorsportspodcast.wordpress.com. We're also broadcasting. This one of our episodes will be broadcasting on the FM on CFMH 107.3 local FM in St. John, New Brunswick on Saturdays at noon. And I'm hearing, as of the date we're recording here in the summer of 2023, we're moving over to Mondays on CKMS 102.7 Radio Waterloo in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, a part of the Waterloo Region Podcast Hour, which just had a little bit of a schedule shift.
What time?
I don't know. And then on the Performance Motorsports Network app on your smart device. I don't know. I also don't know when we're
answer.
I also don't know when
I
we're.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's amazing.
And on the
you
PMN
don't
app,
edit that out.
The Performance Motorsports Network app. I also don't
take
know
them
when
in a
we're
reel.
on that. But hey, we're gonna be there for y'all, and also I can't forget to mention wherever you get your podcasts, we're on there. We're gonna bring it to you. We're gonna have potentially a couple episodes this week. So for now, that just about wraps it up. That's the facts. We'll see y'all around the bend.
Adios.